This conference will now be recorded.
Michelle.
Can you hear us now?
There we go. Welcome to the joint meeting of the Monterey Select Board and the Monterey Finance Committee. Here present for the Monterey Select Board is Stephen White, the chair, and
Justin Maycock, present.
and for finance.
Hello?
Did you mute everybody?
No.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Okay, so is Michelle here or?
Her and John should be here, or at least on their way.
John is here, I just heard him, but now he's muted. Members of the Finance Committee, please present yourself.
We are here.
Okay, John's here, Katrina's here, Michelle's here, I guess. Great.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so, well, you guys are gonna run this meeting, but I guess I will, or I'll pass it on. So what happened at the Finance Committee meeting? Anything that would impact the warrant? I was not present. Justin, were you present?
I was not present.
Justin and I were not present. Anybody want to say anything?
Well, I was there. They accepted the budget as proposed, 2-1,
Okay.
with no additional positions or leadership training or mediation or anything like that.
Did they, right now, how much money would be used to lower the,
475,000,
which would leave how much money in free cash?
which will leave us with
43 and change.
43.
46,888.33.
46.
Okay, and that includes, does that include if some of the articles are passed by, there's a warrant for the milfoil? Does that include if the milfoil is passed? So if it's
Yes.
not passed, there would be an additional,
Nope, it's all included.
it's all included. Okay.
So for instance, if milfoil didn't pass, it got 0, then we would have 96,888.
Correct.
So the minimum if everything passes and nothing gets added we'll be left with 46888.
Right. Okay, so, did you have time to
Yeah.
review the,
Cause we had 3 items, mediations, select board secretary and leadership training, right? And you were gonna maybe come up with a figure, so I did select board secretary and leadership training. So I'd be willing to present on those.
Sure.
And just for the finance committee's knowledge, this is not something that the select board has agreed upon yet as a request, but it's, obviously we would have liked to have proposed it sooner in the process, but these were recommended to us recently, so that's why they're late requests. Leadership training, I looked into, I spoke with Janet Maximum, and there was just too wide of a range for me to put a figure on this year's budget, because you can do it anywhere from a few $1,000s to tens of thousands of dollars, and I don't really know. I think what would be best if someone is willing to come in and do that kind of training pro bono, or to seek out free resources. It seems like a lot of money to spend with a good goal, but it'd be nice if, especially, it just seemed like such a wide range, I couldn't nail down a number. For,
Justin, have you looked at the state for that kind of thing? Because they do free trainings.
I didn't see any resource from the state, but I will look into that. But yeah, I don't have a figure to propose. I don't propose adding any money. And hopefully we'll look for resources provided by the state or someone to do it pro bono or something like that. As far as the select board secretary position, which was a recommendation to maybe separate the town administrator position and the secretary position, or the administrative position, administrative assistant. The budget, I estimated 6 hours a week at $18 per hour, which comes out to $5,616 a year. On its own, it would be a line that's $5,616. If it was added to be part of the office assistant position, it would bring that from $8,456.40 to $14,072.40. And I had estimated 6 hours a week, 2 hours to prepare, submit, and post agenda and disseminate documents prior to meeting, 3 hours to draft and submit minutes, 1 hour for correspondence. And the job description that, I was just working on as a draft for this position, because it kind of came in pretty late, was prepare and submit to the select board draft minutes for each meeting, coordinate the posting of agendas with the chair and members of the select board, correspond with departments, employees, and others as directed by the select board on behalf of the select board, attend meetings of the select board, or in some instances, use the video audio recording of meetings to draft the minutes. So that would be the financial impact would be $5,616.
So you envision that this secretary would only work for the select board, or would do minutes for other?
So that's the point, is we could add it to the office assistant position who's already doing minutes, or is, proposed to do minutes for other committees. And that would bring that line from $8,456.40 to $14,072.40, if we were to combine that all into one position, or to leave it out on its own, because I believe the office assistant position was also calculated at a rate of $18 per hour, if I'm not mistaken. 18.
So, Justin, do you want comments from the finance committee?
Yeah, sure.
In my brief 3-week tenure as the town manager of Sandusfield, I can tell you that, I personally would have a hard time doing my job if I was taking minutes at the same meeting that I'm reporting to. So I definitely approve of finding a select board secretary. Whether you combine them on the warrant or not is another matter. If you left it separate, you could still end up with the same employee, so I would recommend leaving it separate.
So I guess the proposal then would be the creation of a line called either administrative assistant or select board secretary. The line would be a request for $5,616.
So I guess the question is, can you do it in reverse, where you can actually have this line as your administrative assistant for 14 and change? However, it could comprise 2 individuals.
I think that's what John was getting at. It'd all be similar work, is taking minutes and preparing agendas for different boards, finance committee, planning board. It's all very similar work.
I would leave it separate for a couple of reasons. One is you may lose one or the other of these people mid-year, and if they're separate, you can find someone else. If they're together, you might have more trouble. So I would leave them separate, one select board secretary and one admin assistant.
I have no problem with that. I'm just trying to feel it out in my head.
Yeah, so it happens to be the same person in Sandusfield right now, and that's working well. That position works, majority of hours for the manager and a minority of the hours for the select board, but they're two distinct jobs.
Okay. My only other comment about it is, again, I would think I would like the ability of a quote unquote select board secretary to have the ability to also do minutes for other things. So I don't know if I would call them a select board secretary. No.
I would leave the other ones to the other job. You already have a job to do the other minutes. I think it's very important for it to say select board secretary, because then it's someone that it works exclusively for you guys doing a constrained number of jobs.
Fair enough. Michelle?
Well, I didn't hear the first part of the discussion, and I'm just trying to get back into the groove here. Are we talking about the office assistant wages?
So I can fill you in a little bit. So, sorry to come to you late in the process with a request, but it was, something that came up as a recommendation to us, late in the process.
By who?
You can say that out loud. That's,
Well,
we said it out loud in public session.
Yeah, by-
Or, it was one of the recommendations that came through, from the investigation.
And the recommendation is to have a select board secretary or someone take minutes for the select board and kind of separate that from the town administrator position. And like John was saying, it also allows, the town administrator to do their job without having to focus on taking minutes.
Sounds like a good idea, but what about the other people in town who need assistance?
So we're keeping the offices, or at least this is not a request necessarily related to the office assistant position. The discussion we're having right now is whether we want to combine them into one line or keep them on separate lines. But the request is for $5,616.
So on a different line than the 845540, the 5,000 higher? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, there'd be two positions.
So with the planning, there was some talk about this person helping the planning board.
No, that would be the office assistant, the other position that I'm creating.
Is that what we're talking
No,
about?
they're talking about a select board only secretary.
Oh, I see, okay.
So but the planning board would still have the assistance from the office assistant.
Which
Okay,
is a different line.
well, we didn't want, our line item for the money stricken to zero and then not get anybody to help us, and then we couldn't hire anybody.
No, it sounds like, and people correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like both the finance committee and, Justin and myself here on the select board are for having basically starting two new positions in town. One is office assistant, which would work, part of the things would work for the planning board. And one of them would be select board secretary, which would actually do the minutes for the select board and, yeah, so there would be
Okay.
two, we're creating two
So
more.
in other words, you're adding $5,000 to the budget.
Correct. 5,000, well, so Justin did a calculation that it would require $5,616. Can somebody else do the alternative math? I know Mickey's got her
Why don't
pencil
you
out.
top it
No,
out
I'm
at
just writing.
5,000 and have the taxes come out of that? Or don't you just make it 5,000 and not do the
Really?
taxes on top of that?
And not.
Because I don't have all the facts.
Sorry.
I'm saying, how did you come up with 5,000, number one? Was it like how many hours a week?
Yeah,
And how many
Give her the
hours?
calculation that you
So-
gave us.
6 hours per week at a rate of $18 per hour,
For how many weeks a year?
52.
But you're not in business 52 weeks a year.
It's 52.2, it would actually be $5,637.60.
Yeah, so I thought about that, and I thought we either have another meeting or we don't. But I also thought sometimes we don't have meetings, and sometimes we have double meetings, so it's kind of a hard thing to
Okay,
predict.
just checking.
It is, I will say, if anything, it's probably on the low end, but I don't want to, ask for more than is,
Would
Then it-
5,700 be kind of like, kind of capture at least 2 more hours?
well, and all's to say that, you know, it's all dependent on hiring somebody, you know, it's a new position, and so it's,
I mean, what, right,
I think the nice round number is nice, especially since you haven't tried it yet.
Right.
I mean, you can always have $50 left over at the end of the year, and then we have free cash to buy
a truck.
$50 to buy a new truck, right?
So, yeah, so I would recommend it'd be like, I would recommend something like $5,700, basically. How much is the office assistant number?
845540.
Wow, we're very specific, very, very specific.
I know.
But I mean, I would have no problem if it was 5,700 or 5,650 or.
And that's
Can I
going
just
to
make
be,
one more comment about the keeping them separate? You know, Melissa may need more and more of an assistant as time goes on, and I think it's very important to distinguish between the two. The select board secretary, you may find a happy medium frequency in terms of the amount of hours. But the administrative job is, you know, likely to increase over time. So keeping them separately, I think, is a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's disputing that, John. I think we're all pretty much
Okay.
in agreement
shall I make a
there.
motion to add that to the budget?
Sure, I'll second it.
Okay.
Well, wait, what's the number? What's
5,700 was the last number.
5,700?
57's fine.
Okay, so we just acknowledged that we are adding $5,700 to the
All right,
budget.
so let's make them 2 formal motions over here, so we don't get into, I don't wanna go to jail.
I'd like a motion. Yes. To the previously to accomplish the hiring of. That's a line item.
Additional line item. Yeah, sorry,
Number 122? Anyway, that's not my job to do that now. Katrina, are you still there?
I am. It's just really unclear and I can't hear you because it keeps going in and out really badly.
Yeah, it's breaking up for me too, but I'm going to throw in my vote to approve while I can.
I'll approve as well.
We're all 3 in favor, it's unanimous. Select board.
okay, so I'd like to make a motion to add the position of the select board secretary to the budget as a line item, and that budget, and that to be funded to the amount of $5,700, or asked to be raised and appropriated $5,700 to pay for that position.
second,
I vote yes.
yes.
Great, okay, and thank you, Justin, for doing the calculations and getting us information that we need to make an informed decision.
I have a question. Melissa, so the number now that we have for the office assistant, does that give us, can we reduce that number?
It's 2 separate positions.
Right, but I mean, it's a person, the office assistant was gonna help, no.
They weren't gonna do the minutes or anything like that.
Was there a discussion, while we're about the attorney's fees?
We noted that there was in the finance committee meeting that we no longer have town council, and that we will therefore be at the mercy of the marketplace when we go to find another one.
Do you believe that the line item for $19,000 is appropriate, or do you wish to
I
lower it
think it
back
would
to
be
the
foolish
initial?
to reduce it, even if we could, and of course, we may have to raise it if it's by a motion on the town floor, at town meeting, if we should be so lucky as to find somebody before town meeting with a price in mind.
Okay, Um, I think that's reasonable. I just wanted to bring it up since it's something that's changed since the last time we all met together.
Yes.
Right.
A great
Was there any,
moment.
was there anything else?
There was, I missed it. I think we were talking about training and my computer died on the road.
So I said, I'm not gonna make any request for amount of money for training, because there was such a wide range from a few $1,000s to tens of thousands of dollars, which is also a lot of money to spend on training people. And we are going to hopefully seek out either pro bono services or, John mentioned free services offered by the state. And hopefully not burden the taxpayer with that in particular.
And you can't, you can always, especially for select board, you can use some select board expense money if you need to. Okay.
I'd say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So if you have a training session, this is gonna be more good money thrown after bad money, which was, in my opinion, already done. I would be reluctant to approve for any money spent without a very, very clear understanding of the results that we can expect from that money being spent, which when you enter into a contract, then you should be able to expect to get the results that you pay for. And that certainly is not the case currently, in my opinion.
Okay. Were there any other changes or questions of the budgetary numbers?
Did we have 3 things and we dealt with 3 things?
Because you agreed to keep the free cash money to lower the tax levy at $475, and you were okay with what was left in free cash. And then I just need to know if the finance committee does or does not support the milfoil article.
You know what, we didn't talk about it, and.
Well, we can discuss that. So when we did the minutes, Michelle, I noticed that we had voted 3-0, the finance committee, not to put the milfoil on the warrant. And then I noticed at a subsequent meeting that I guess I wasn't at, that you and Katrina voted to put it on the warrant. So we have 2 different votes of the finance committee in the past. And so I'm not sure where we are now.
Well, I think part of that vote got complicated by the ARPA discussion, in which we thought we were gonna put 4 things in a row and use ARPA money for them. And I think the discussion was that there were 2 things that were recurring expenses that we didn't feel ARPA money should go for. And our second vote was to eliminate those, and one of them was milfoil. Does somebody remember the other one? Because I don't. What was a recurring expense? Oh, electronic voting for 5,000, was it?
Yeah.
And so we didn't even actually deal with the issue of whether we were in favor, but
Okay.
here tonight, I think, the milfoil is gonna be on the warrant. It's gonna be on for 50,000. We figured in the 50,000 into our budget. So I think, although we have reservations, which I'm not sure what they are, I think it's just a fait accompli unless the town meeting votes it down.
Well, so I'm not sure why it's come up again. I voted against the budget. This is one of the reasons why I voted against it. But
It's on there.
if it's a done deal, then I already voted against it and we can move on.
It's a citizen's petition, that's all.
Yeah, so I just wanted to know whether to put under it, whether the finance committee supports it or not.
Can we be neutral on it?
Sure.
Well, I'm not sure we can be neutral on it. You're going to have to put the finance committee vote as 2-1 on every item on the warrant.
Well, then I guess that's what it is, 2-1 on every item on the warrant.
Including the select board secretary?
No, because, I don't know if I'm allowed to vote on You know, it's not like going to a Chinese restaurant here. I can't vote on it, approve a few things and then nothing else unless you want me to go through the entire budget and tell you which ones I approve and which
Well,
ones I
we
don't.
asking you to do that, John, for a while now, and if we wanna do it now, we can.
Hang on, the only ones that we have comments on are the special articles, John, so if you wanna tell me really quick, the ones you don't support, I can change it. I was under the impression that you support the 30,000 to the retiree health and life insurance.
Of course.
Okay.
So I guess I should
16,000.
clarify. Yeah, let me clarify, Melissa. I voted against the operating budget. If you want to go through that's a good idea. Let's go real quick through the special articles.
Just say yes or no, that's all I need to take a long time. 16,881 to retiree group health life insurance benefit.
Yes, of course.
3,000 to the local cultural council.
Yes.
7,000 to the copier.
Sorry, you know what? Unfortunately, you break up every time you speak. I can't hear you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the budget right now, real quick.
Yeah, just look at the special articles.
Well, I can't open it because I just opened up that
Can of worms,
can of worms.
can of milfoil?
Can of-
Okay, Melissa, can you hear me?
Yep.
I approve of all of them except the milfoil, so I'm good on that.
And I'm assuming Katrina and Michelle, you don't approve of milfoil either?
I'm fine with the milk.
You're fine. Katrina?
I'm fine with it.
That's all I needed. We're good to go.
Have we, are we ready for the public to invite the public to make any comments that they like, or have the two boards given the input?
What's the time?
That they're here
6
for?
o'clock,
Yeah.
and you guys need to have your regular
Well,
meeting.
we're not, it's not an entire conversation. Are there members of the public that would like to speak to, it's interesting, I just got from by the way, I just got from the House Ways and Means Committee, just posted their budget.
I just want to say thanks for keeping everything civil, people.
We are civil people.
We aim to please. All right, great. So I think so this budget this budget is concluded. Melissa will produce the final warrant. What?
One question I had, did the select board vote on citizen petitions?
We don't vote on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I only need to know if you support the milfoil, because that has a dollar amount in it.
well, I don't know the point of, do we support a citizen petition or not, because it's a citizen petition, it has to be on there. Who
Right,
cares
but
what
it's
the select board thinks?
advisory. It will give the people in the town a sense of whether we don't approve it or whether we do, and that gives them some guidance on what.
They trust us.
I'm sorry, could I ask for a clarification because it's not obvious on the warrant on the budget line that was that a citizen petition?
Yes,
So it's going on the warrant as a citizen petition?
yes.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know that.
I make a motion that we adjourn the joint meeting of the Finance Select Board Committee.
We're just gonna get, I just wanna get one answer
Oh,
about
I'm
the
sorry.
milfoil and then we can.
Oh, I'm
we can
sorry.
adjourn. The last thread. So Justin, I would make a motion that we support the citizen petition. The town has voted consistently to accept the expenditure for the milfoil, and yes, that may change, should there be a future, way to get revenue and to offset that, but for this particular coming fiscal year, it sounds like the townspeople have spoken every year, to accept it, and so I would make a motion that we accept it.
Second.
Yes?
Yes.
Now,
I'll make a motion that we.
Wait, I'm
adjourn.
sorry. One more technical question for Melissa. At the end of Article 3, which is the operating budget, do we vote the select board and the finance committee?
No, we have never in the past.
Okay, so I think we have to have a vote on that because I voted against it.
Fine, let's vote.
Okay, so I'll just put it's 2-0, I'm sorry, 2-1 for the finance committee.
2-1, yep.
So I make a motion that we accept the budget as
The operating budget.
the operating budget.
Second.
So yes?
Yes.
So it's 2-0.
All right, thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
And just,
Okay.
I make a motion that we adjourn the joint meeting of the finance.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion that we adjourn that.
We're post for 1 meeting.
This
Yeah,
is only
don't
one
adjourn.
meeting.
No, I was gonna
You
just
guys-
adjourn from the.
I mean, if you want.
Okay, yeah.
Be careful, Steve.
Don't make a move.
No, had I known I had the power. That was years ago. All right, yes, okay, I'm not doing anything, by the way. I've been instructed by, that I'm not doing anything. Okay, so,
Good for us.
good for you. Bravo to the finance committee, thank you for doing a sterling job. I think, with the exception of the hiccup here and there, I think it's gonna be, I think it's a reasonable budget given the current geopolitical issues and the state of the economy. And I don't believe that it's, and I believe that the people of Monterey will understand what needed to be done, and it will keep the level of the, of
Remember that
living same.
the tax rate is not going up, right? So it's fine.
Right, but thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle, sterling chair.
That's still on there. I'm not gonna stay for that, if you don't mind.
Really? I thought if I flattered you, you'd stay.
Can we bring you candy next
I
time?
guess it didn't really need to.
Have a good night.
Okay, so so welcome everybody to the select board only meeting, Wednesday, 13th of April, 2022, here at downtown Monterey. So we're still here, so I don't have to introduce ourselves. It's still just Justin and myself. Mr. Weingold showed up. No, I see it. See something. Anyway, if he shows up, let us know. Let's go through the agenda. Old business number 1, review human resource proposals for handbook update and consider accepting the most responsive. So, Justin, I know that you were going to get a proposal from.
Yeah, you sent me a letter. I don't know if it got passed on to you or not.
So,
It said, "Dear Mr. Maycook, I understand that with state and federal employment laws frequently changing, the town of Monterey wishes to update its employee manual to ensure that it is compliant. For over 20 years, I have been practicing labor and employment law in Connecticut and Massachusetts and work with employers in both the public and private sectors. As part of my practice, I regularly review, create manuals. I've done a preliminary review of the town's existing employee manual and believe that there are some provisions that should be modified and updated. For this project, I can offer the town a discounted rate of $300 per hour, which I will agree to cap at $6,000. Please let me know if you have any questions or wish to discuss. Sincerely, Michael Harrington."
okay, so we currently have 3 proposals on the floor for this employee handbook. One of them is from Mr. Harrigan. One of them is from Collins Center, and that's for $6,500. Is that correct, Melissa? And then that's also for $6,500.
That is for $5,500.
Um,
Sorry, I had to figure out who it was first.
somebody
That's
is.
PM Johnson.
My only concern with Mr. Harrington is, obviously, so Mr. Harrington is an attorney, right? The billing, he did mention his billing rate and his cap rate. I think we both can remember an experience, which I won't get too specific about, where we hired an attorney that billed at a certain rate, and I don't know, then asked for more. Just to not get too specific here. And that is my concern when it comes to somebody who bills by the hour, even though they agree to cap it. We're sort of held hostage a little bit because we pay up to that amount, and they're like, well, listen, actually, I gotta work 5 more hours. Just give me 5 more hours, give us another $1,500, and then we're back, and we can't sort of say no because we're already involved in the process. I do know that we have enlisted the help of the Collins Center. They're a known entity. The other entity, I don't know, but I also understand is specifically designed for human resources and represents the least amount of impact to the taxpayer, $5,500. I'm not suggesting that we go based on price, but I would probably recommend that either we use the Collins Center or the human resource people, only because of the experience that we've had with this other, with this type of environment.
Steve,
Yeah.
could I,
Sorry, what?
if you said this and I missed it, I apologize, but could you speak to the third party, not Collins, regarding what they would offer specifically?
So this was so Justin found this person. He's actually a little bit more prophetic at it.
Not Harrington, not
No,
Harrington,
not
not Collins, not Harrington one.
HR2. Do you have a copy of that?
So it is attached to some previous minutes, but if you give me a minute, I will pull it up.
Thanks.
I have the document, but it's like 5 pages long.
Yeah.
The statement of work.
And they were specific to human resource. They were specific to human resource, which is what I personally liked because that's all they did, and that's what that's what we're looking to do as far as the employee handbook. They were just not a known entity.
They'll perform a complete analysis of the contents related to appropriateness, clarity, reflection of actual practices, completeness, and regulatory compliance. Develop a comprehensive employee handbook utilizing their proprietary template.
So, and my concern actually with them is they are called HR Knowledge, but the parent company is the HILB group, which is actually an insurance company. So it's an insurance company that has a HR branch that gives you their proprietary handbook. I would prefer Collins Center or Attorney Harrington. And I will say what's different about Attorney Harrington's letter to me, I don't think that this select board has signed a proposal with a cap. He said, I will agree to a cap, right? So that's not, let us know when you hit 6,000. That's not, let us know when you hit 5,000. It's a cap at 6,000. So I think if the project went over 6,000 without any alert, we would have we'd be on pretty solid ground to only pay $6,000. In my mind.
Okay, in my mind, we actually did cap, the other individual.
I don't think we said there's a cap. I can look up, I'll pull it up right now actually, because I got it. The last contract that you're referring to with Corinne Hood Green, it said something along the lines of, what that contract said was the town will be billed at an hourly rate of $350 per hour for any work on your matter by me, $250 per hour for contract and associate attorneys, and $100 per hour for law clerks and paralegals. We will send the town bills on a monthly basis, and the amount of each bill will be due within 30 days of the date of the bill. We reserve the right to charge interest at the rate of 18% per annum on any overdue payment. We will bill a minimum period of 0.1 hour, 6 minutes for each action performed. Green and Hafer LLC shall contact the town to authorize expenses in excess of $10,000 for the entire project. Green and Hafer LLC shall notify the town when the project total has reached $8,000. So it doesn't say there's a cap at 10, it just says notify. And so the difference in this contract is, or it's not even a contract, but the difference in this letter is I will agree to cap at $6,000.
Okay, so, but then when we, so just to follow up on that, after we signed that contract with Green and Paper, is that, then they came back and said, we need X number of dollars, and we told them, okay, we're only going to give you $16,000, I think it was.
6,000 more.
6,000 more, and they said, okay, and they just sent us a bill for
Another 5.
for more money than $6,000. So that is just my concern, where somebody said, okay, I agree to this amount, and then by the way, nope, you actually owe me more. And my concern is, like, if we haven't discussed obviously what we're going to do about that Green and Hafer.
Steve, may I say something? We're talking about 5,500, 6,000, 6,500, about 3 proposals. Has anybody checked to see what kind of work these people do? It's almost irrelevant what fee they're gonna charge. I actually happen to agree with Justin, that contract said, we will notify you if we go over $10,000. They didn't cap it at $10,000. And maybe that was the town's mistake, but I actually agree with that interpretation. But if somebody says, I'll bill at 300, which is sounding like Corinne's 350 or 250 and so on, but I won't go over 6,000, that means I won't go over 6,000. Collins Center is saying 6,500, that means that they won't go over 6,500. There's other HR group saying I'm going to 5,500. There's no indication here until you see the contract, and they could go over. So I think you need to take them on face value that we're comparing 5,500, 6,000, and 6,500. But I think much more important than that is to worry about what kinds of services they can provide, and do they have any references? Now look, I've been in the business a long time, references don't mean a whole lot, but you can get some information from
So
references.
the known entity, there's one known entity in these 3 people.
Collins.
The Collins Center, okay, while I'm not a
Fan.
well, no, I'm not.
Well,
not
no,
a
but
fan,
it's important to know what you think, because if we're gonna talk about going with the same company, did they do a good job? Did the Collins Center do a good job
So,
the first time they went to Monterey?
I think what the Collins Center does well is what they did well for Monterey is they provided a list of ideas that that the town should look at. What I think was not, I think a lot of their results were mischaracterized, because they gave a bunch of results that basically apply to a town that's 10 times the size of this town. And a lot of people took that to heart. Well, they said all these things, that we must do every single thing. And what a lot of people don't understand is that these are suggestions. They're not edicts where you say, well, I must do that, I must do all of it. In the case of an employee handbook, it's a little bit different, because an employee manual should be the same, whether you're in a small town or a big city, because you're trying to protect the employees in the same manner. So I don't have that much of a concern with the Collins Center, since they're going to give you, or give the town of Monterey, a very comprehensive look into how to deal with employees, and that is universal, again, whether you're in a small town or a big city. So that was the only, but that's, so I have less of a problem with the call center since they are a known entity. I am concerned about, Mr. Harrington, and I don't know anything about, That's Good Digging there, because I don't know anything about this other company, although I would be inclined to make that my second choice. But I would lean towards the Collins, Center. And by the way, but I think it's essentially, it's a little bit of a.
Couple things, like Hillel said, references are good to have, but they don't always mean anything. Because I'm only gonna tell you the people that were satisfied with my work. You can write in these contracts that this is a cap, this is a firm amount. You can put that in the contract. You don't have to accept somebody's contract, you have to come back with what's acceptable to us.
Right.
It's not just what they write, it's what's acceptable to us for both of you to sign. And the other thing is, so they give us a sample, they get done and they say, well, this is what, or somewhere along the line towards the end, they say, this is what we recommend for your manual, and we can question things. We can say, well, we've never done that here, but why should we? So there'll be things to discuss. Like you said, with Collins, you don't have to accept everything somebody says to you. Just as we don't accept everything that comes across the floor here.
I'm just concerned when somebody says, well, listen, I charge $300 an hour, but I'll cap it. I mean, I'm still charging $300
It
an
says
hour.
a cap, if you have to put that deferred cap in any, that should be in all of the contracts.
There should be a cap, but I don't like, I say.
You don't like to say.
I say, give us a handbook for X number of dollars. I don't care whether you spend 10 hours on it or 10,000 hours on it. We have it, we want a handbook for X number of dollars. And what I'm concerned about is somebody saying to me, I'll cap it at this, but I just wanna let you know that I'm gonna charge, I'm billing you $300 an hour.
Well, wait a second, the reverse, if he puts it that way, the reverse is also true. If he gets done in 10 hours, he only charges $3,000, not $6,000.
Well, no, he's not
Except
gonna do
that he
that.
won't
He's
tell
not
you
gonna-
that he did it in 10 hours.
He's not gonna do that.
Because I sure wouldn't.
Right, so, I don't know, that's my concern, just given my recent experience, here.
Yeah, but you didn't have a cap on that. And this one would have to say,
Okay, I
you
get
know,
this.
that you're gonna say, with the amount will not exceed.
Actually, the second time we went back to the person that we were talking about, we said, okay, fine, you got another 6,000, so we got $16,000 and that's it. And they said, okay,
And then it
and
goes.
then they billed for more. So,
In writing.
yeah, I got a bill. As a matter of fact, they actually,
No,
instead
no,
of
but I
the
mean-
Monterey, they wrote it to me, and I wrote them back and I said, this is not a bill to me, this is a bill to the town of Monterey.
No, but I mean, if we have a cap in writing, right? We only pay he sends us a bill for $8,000, we only pay 6,000, that's all we have. And we say, you set a cap, we don't,
May I
what are they
go-
gonna do?
He's gonna sue you.
For $2,000?
No,
Yes.
for 500. May I go back? We're arguing about pennies here. We're not arguing about the real issue. Somehow we need to vet these proposals and see what's in our best interest. Even if we go with the 6,500 rather than the 5,500, this town is gonna survive $1,000 over expenditure.
Well,
So what if
That's my
do
suggestion.
you wanna send
he
us
offered to come in to speak with us?
Okay.
And
Why
I
don't we
think
set up
all
a
three of
time?
them should.
Yeah.
And then invite the townspeople to,
Fair enough.
when you go to shop for a car, you wanna look at all the bells and whistles and be able to compare. I think that's what we should be looking at, the sum and substance of what we're hiring, rather than worrying about how much we're paying.
Fair enough, okay, so let's table this, and we're gonna see what, why don't you see what his availability is.
So we'll interview with all of them.
I would suggest that.
I completely agree with Hillel. For example, I would have liked clarification on what the Collins experience and expertise is in this specific area.
With the Collins Center, so the Collins Center is, you actually, you can look up right now, I believe it's online. I never thought I'd be sticking up for the Collins Center, boy, this is, Like it's interesting. Yeah, that's available if you go into their website. They have all their. I've been on their website a few times. They have all their credentials up there. Can we go to number 2 of town business, the Municipal Vulnerability Grant? We have Dennis here. Dennis?
You're just signing the letter that I have there, that you were all provided. It's a letter of support.
Okay, does you want to make a presentation before I make a motion to?
Just to follow up what Melissa said, yes, this is a requirement of the grant application to have this letter of commitment and support. And the exact wording is provided by the state in that letter that is addressed back to the state. And I might note that originally we thought that the local match was 25%, but the local match is now 10%. Simply because the town of Monterey is on a list of communities that, according to the state controller's office, I believe, it falls into an economically disadvantaged category. Possibly because we have significant second homeowners. But the bottom line is they look at this throughout the state, and we're one of perhaps 20 or 30 other communities that fall into that category. So it's a positive in terms of the local match.
That's great. That's great. So I would make a motion that that we approve and sign the letter as typed to Ms. Brunson, the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Manager. Second?
Second.
May I know what this grant is for?
Yeah. So
yes, this is the phase 2 project, which is the culvert on the east side of Town Hall. It's going to be for the final design and permitting of that project. There are 3 phases. Each phase is a separate grant application.
This work has been ongoing for several years, and it with under Dennis's leadership, and with all the departments basically talking trying to highlight how a town like this would be vulnerable in case of a major flooding event or whatever. And as we can, as we see from past history, this is probably one of the most important things that we can do to preserve downtown, the infrastructure of downtown, as in the face of climate change. So, but it's a process. You got to one part. So Dennis is leading us through it. So I vote yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna sign it.
You
I
have
think
2 other
there's other-
pages to sign.
For you.
Oh yeah, the part where I'm gonna have to pay for it. All right. Well,
Just cap it.
I'll just sign Justin's thing. Yeah. Okay. Oh, 3 pages.
I don't know why I've been sticking in some things.
What?
There's a sticky note that says 3 people signed the first page.
You know, when I'm
Sign the
wearing
second.
it's weird, when I'm wearing a mask, it messes with my close-up vision. I don't know what that's about. Alright, no. Maybe it's those shorts. Alright,
Too bad.
thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
And let's move on, shall we? Do you have the warrants ready?
You've already approved them, so let's just sign them at the end.
We'll come at the end, okay. So then let's get an update from the transfer station committee.
And that has well, we just did the budget too. We finalized it.
Yes.
All right, so the update from the transfer station,
Just to summarize, there's proposing that you keep the transfer station sticker fee the same, $75 for 2 stickers for a household, with $15 for each additional sticker for the coming year. They're looking into options for bulky waste and stuff, but they also are recommending that you put a moratorium on bulky waste fees for, what was it, Susan, a month and a half? Did we say till the end of May, put a moratorium?
We did say we did say till the end of May, yeah.
Look at other methods so that we can eliminate getting any kind of cash transactions or check transactions up there, since now there's gonna be one person on Sundays and 2 the other days, until we can find someone else.
Oh, it's because of the,
Well, we're trying to
Staffing issue?
eliminate any cash transactions up there at all.
so I think it's a great idea to try to figure out a way to eliminate cash transactions up there. I think that in of itself is a good idea. I personally, Monterey, all the surrounding towns in Monterey, do charge, I believe, $100 or more for a sticker. I think that there's a lot of costs involved to run the transfer station, obviously. I think especially if you were looking for a way to eliminate, the individual fees, then you would need to start in a position where there should be a fee that's gonna meet those needs and eliminate the individual fees. That's where I'm coming from, is for $100 charge and for the committee to find some way of allowing people to do controlled dumping without the extra fees. One idea, I guess it's been bandied around, and it's been in use in, I believe in Sheffield, is you get 4 or 5 coupons, essentially, that will allow you to do the dumping, or, and if you can buy additional coupons if you wanted to, but there would be no cash transaction.
So they are looking at all that, but it's just too soon to put it into place for fiscal year 23. So they are recommending keeping the fee the same right now. They do foresee that the fees are going to need to rise at some point, but they feel they're currently meeting our obligations. So keep the fee the same, put a moratorium on it just until the end of May.
They keep the fee the same, but they're also not gonna charge for the
Correct.
bulky waste?
Well, they're not gonna
For
allow.
Steve, point of clarification. It's a temporary moratorium until the new sticker cycle. We are working on a revised price list to go out with the new stickers. Simplified system.
So you're talking about after the new, I'm sorry, you're breaking up every other, but after the moratorium though, he will be collecting fees?
No, we're gonna figure out some sort of system, whether it be a coupon system or something
So-
like that. We are trying to get rid of any kind of collection of fees.
Right, and that is a great idea, personally, that is a great idea, okay? But if you do that, something's gonna have to be made up, and that's why I'm saying that maybe the sticker fee should be more than what you're currently charging, if you're not charging the individual fees, because then you're gonna actually be losing revenue. If you keep the fee the same, but you don't charge the extra fees, then it would be more of an impact, to taxpayers. My suggestion is to raise the sticker fee, but not charge the fee, and that's after the moratorium. I think the moratorium is fine.
I apologize for the bad connection, but there's a misunderstanding. Getting cash out of the transfer station does not mean having no way to charge bulk item.
Okay. So you envision somebody would come to town hall and buy coupons?
We're trying to design a simplified system, but I can't really advocate over this connection. So, yes, we are trying to head towards a cashless at the dump system, but one which would allow us to charge for particular items because we feel people need to be aware of the cost and value of that service.
But just to clarify, but the transactions for those coupons are not gonna take place at the transfer station, right? They would take place.
Ideally, they would be either in town hall or online.
Okay. So, and that's also, I mean, I guess that's also part of my, I'm just playing devil's advocate over here, you understand? But that's part of my, that in addition to selling, so now you have, let's say, the office assistant or the town administrator not only selling dump stickers, but also selling coupons. Um, and now I understand there could be a way to do it online, but so basically what I'm thinking is if we raise the fees, then at least the town administrator or the office assistant would not have to sell coupons in addition.
But there's a lot of, I can't do it over this audio, but there are many reasons not to make one all-inclusive fee.
So is there anything we need to decide tonight?
Yes, it would be great if you decided the sticker fee, because I need to get the renewal notices out.
So 75 for 2 stickers? Last year was 75, the base price, if you didn't buy it online or you weren't,
We're not,
Yeah.
that was a mistake.
No, but what I'm trying to figure out is what was last year, was there a discount if you bought it
75.
early?
Yeah, it was a $5 discount if you bought it early.
If you bought it early, and it was a discount if you bought it online?
That might have been the year before.
No, it was, I don't quite remember, but it was a discount if you bought it early
So-
online.
So what we're proposing is $75
That's it.
for any, whether it's early, whether it's online, whether it's in person, anyway, $75. If you buy online, there's a little fee for the credit card, but that's not included in the 75, that will be $77.50. 75, and you get 2 stickers
Are you gonna cap it?
at 75.
Don't get wise. Are you gonna cap it?
At 75.
Right, so
I'm fine with that, I think it's simple.
I have, okay, I'm sorry.
I know you're I'm concerned again, is there any town, all towns,
Well, we pay for it a lot with the funds that we raise from property taxes, and,
And you recycles and paper, right? You get money back.
right, okay, well, listen, I'm just making my concerns out there, that, again, you have to look at how it's gonna impact the overall budget, discussion. You actually have one finance committee member who said that he's not happy with with the amount of raising of different departments. And this is gonna make departments raise more for the next fiscal year. So, do you put the burden on all the taxpayers, or the additional burden on all the taxpayers, or do you put the additional burden on the folks that actually use the station? And it's, and so, by,
No schools.
Well, that actually
I
doesn't
have an answer
matter,
for that, actually. I
because
have a
the
new answer.
operating expenses cover the whole operating expenses that's in the budget. The sticker fee is just
I
a
know,
user fee,
I know, and it goes into free cash.
so everybody's going to feel the pinch, if prices go up.
Anyway,
Not
so, look, I'm not gonna be doing the budget next year, but I'm telling you, it would certainly be my suggestion that the fee finally approaches what every other town in Berkshire County is essentially doing it, and that the additional fees, include, controlled, dumping, via, coupons or what have you, that would cost anybody any additional money. But,
I have a concern, if you don't mind.
Alright.
Nikki doesn't have any kids in school, but she still pays for school. I have no kids in school, and I pay for school. And when I discuss this with other people, they say, yeah, but, you know, if we tax everybody for it, they're gonna say, well, we already have private service coming by, and this is double taxation. And I stopped and I didn't wait too long for that. And I said to myself, I do have children of school age, I'm supposing I have. But I chose to send them to a private school. That's double taxation. I'm paying for the private school and I'm paying for my taxes. I don't get a tax break for sending my kid to a private school. So the argument that people who want to have, for whatever reason, and I do have a caveat about that, people who say, I'm already paying, you know, for private services is double taxation, I understand that, okay, but that's your personal
It's a
preference.
choice.
That's a choice,
It's a
okay?
choice.
Now, I will grant that in some cases, that's not a choice. There are some people who might not be physically able to go to the transfer station, do their dumping, and we should take those people into consideration and worry about a waiver altogether, given that they have private service. But the argument that double taxation, everybody, my neighbor sends his kids to private school, that's double taxation.
okay, so in conclusion, what's your?
I think we should get rid of the stickers. You can give free.
Alright, so right.
Stickers, actually give free stickers out to everybody so that Sandusville people, New Marlboro people can't come to our transfer station. And then adjust the price in the budget. In the tax.
Alright, so, anarchy.
That's not anarchy, that's equity. That's equity.
Anyway, again, listen, I have got no problem if you wanna keep it at 75 and eliminate the fees and see how it impacts the budget.
Well, we're not
Yeah,
eliminating any fees.
just do the fees, just do the sticker fee right now,
We're
and
not
then you can vote on the moratorium. You're just setting the sticker fee right now. Whatever you make a motion for, 75, 100, 80, 90.
Motion to make the transfer station sticker fee for this upcoming year to be $75 for 2 stickers for a household and $15 for each additional vehicle sticker in that household.
Fine, I'll second that to get it done. I don't personally agree with it, but, it seems like the committee, I give the committee knows what they're doing, so you're the guys that are gonna have to sort through stuff. I hope it works out, and I would be happy to say if I'm wrong. But fine, I'll second it and I vote yes.
Yes.
Okay, so $75.
Now you would vote on whether you're gonna take your recommendation to put a moratorium on bulky waste fees until the end of May.
But that's also on just depositing bulky items.
You can still deposit them, you just don't, you have to pay for them.
Right. That's
Wait,
all. Right.
what?
Yeah, so
Yes.
that's,
The moratorium is on the fee, on the cash
Just on the
collected.
fee, so that there is no cash check, any kind
But
of transaction.
then, you know, people got 16 mattresses just
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah.
I don't think we can
Roger
do that.
Ryan alone probably has 100 tires.
Wait a second, you don't have to advertise
He's not here,
this.
but.
Don't, can we go on executive session for this? Now, you don't have to advertise it.
So,
I don't know. I think we have to make it work with the fees because the mattress box fills up and we have to pay for the mattress box to go away. The demo debris, thing fills up and we have to pay for it to go away. The cost still gonna be a cost, and additional, if people know they can do it for free.
yes.
So I think we have to somehow unfortunately make it work against all odds.
So again, that's why I was, so I think there's gonna be a lot of extra dumping and it's gonna cost us.
Well, we don't have to do it.
I understand we don't have to do that.
But then you're gonna be collecting cash at the transfer station.
Like we do, and whenever I give cash to the transfer station tenants, they're very good. they write a receipt and there's a carbon copy.
I know, but the concern is right now you only have one person there.
Yeah.
So if you have one guy and he's writing down a receipt Sunday and somebody's dumping a mattress and the other person has a television set and he's writing a receipt for this guy, and then somebody else can't get their trash out of the thing he's gonna be overwhelmed and then he's gonna join KP Law in retirement. We don't want to lose this new fellow by overworking. So I guess the idea was, I think, is to have a moratorium on it so that he doesn't have to deal with any of that. That's the reason why I suggest you offset that by making seats bigger and just producing these.
So you might have extra bulky waste for 6 weeks. Not the end of the world.
Well, it could, we always have to be concerned, so there's, other than death and taxes, the other thing that you are concerned of is that.
Throw a bunch of garbage.
Is that fees for the elimination of garbage will always go up, okay? They're never gonna go down. And so, because it's running out of landfills. So it's gonna always cost the town more and more, all towns, to find a place to put their garbage. So you don't wanna get caught, I'm always concerned that the town's gonna get caught short, where all of a sudden the transfer station is gonna be it's gonna impact negatively the taxpayers.
Yeah, but if it's for just 6 weeks, I can't see it being, you could say 6 weeks only. At the end of the 6 weeks, this cannot be extended any
And
further.
where are you gonna put this, Susie, go put this in the Monterey News?
And it does say that construction waste would be limited to a 33-gallon trash burn.
Jeez. It looks to me like on this Excel sheet that I have with the costs, that there's about 5, maybe on average, is a rough estimate of receipts per day at the transfer station.
It's month dependent and highly variable, and we are now entering the season where the expected number will be higher.
Right. Spring clean out season.
Hopefully that was all done during the pandemic, but we don't anticipate, babe, turn that off for 1 sec. We don't anticipate there being a huge additional amount, although there might be some. The idea is to make it workable until we get a second employee and streamline the system.
Okay, so again, listen, I'll take your recommendations, but I'm concerned that you don't want to, again, I think, so far, I think he's doing fine with, sorry, I forget his name. Jim. Sorry, Jim. I think Jim's doing a great job, but, we don't wanna overwhelm this fellow.
But it's also, and we're not saying anything about Jim or anybody, but we're also trying to get cash checks, anything that has a risk of being stolen, misplaced, lost, misappropriated. Take that out of the equation.
I think it's an excellent idea.
On the basis that there's very roughly 5 to 10 receipts per shift, and on the basis that there's carbon copied receipts to be accountable on the mice, I'm not gonna vote for a moratorium on the fees.
So you're voting against the moratorium?
Well, I'm just announcing that I don't support it. I can't.
Okay, so, there's only 2 board members over here. I think it might be a problem as well, so, and I don't wanna overtax them, so I think Dustin made a very good, makes a very good point. So, we'd like to just not have a moratorium, Susan, are you still there? The board's not gonna support a moratorium right now. I would suggest I would suggest that, perhaps we can work with him to kind of pre-write some of these receipts, like the part, I don't know, it- or help him do something with the receipts or something like that. I do think though that we're gonna need to talk about having somebody else, right? Is there still, are there any other applicants, anybody in the wings?
We received one.
What happened with Bill? Bill's leaving?
Bill is giving us through July, but he will not work Sundays.
Okay.
Okay. Wait a minute, so why don't you have
Jim is looking
I
at
know,
options.
I know,
No bulky on
no
Sunday?
no bulky waste on Sundays, only Wednesdays
So
and
we have
Thursdays.
discussed this with all the transfer station committee, and this is what they recommended to you. Okay? Those ideas were given.
What? You're being snarky with me, Melissa.
No, I'm just trying to keep the meeting moving. I mean,
Okay,
you
anyway,
had a committee
so that
appointed.
might be a way of doing it, while you don't have the extra help on Sunday, maybe there's a way so people can't dump on Sunday, you can only dump on Wednesday and Saturday.
Go stop him.
Anyway, so that would be, perhaps the committee can.
So the argument was, what happens when someone that is used to always coming there on Sunday, and they come and they say, what do you mean I can't dump this
And
today?
he's got the stuff there, and then it goes
And then
on,
they go and they
that
dump
goes
it
on
in
the
the.
side of the road.
Okay.
Or up my road, there's nobody's gonna see him, and it's, that's when you,
All right, well, we're not supporting a
Nice.
moratorium, so you have to find an alternative. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so, all right, so town council resignation and search for new council. So on April 11th, 2022, the Monterey Board of Selectmen, the Monterey Select Board, excuse me, received a letter from KP Law, which we will make available, basically, letting us know that, they're going to be working for the town of Monterey up to the annual town meeting on May 7th. However, after that, they are resigning.
I'm sorry, up to or up through?
Up to, well, two, they're gonna be at
They're gonna be.
the
Through.
thing, right.
Through the meeting, okay.
So, cause we need them at,
Yeah, I just want to make sure that somebody's gonna be there.
and the idea of this letter is to give the town, time to find new council, which we can replace prior to their leaving. They don't have to have it, they can overlap. I do want to say that I have had occasion to have a conversation with the town's previous council, Jeremiah Pollard, who is currently still working on two cases for Monterey that the board gave him permission to do because he was working on it prior to his departure. And he has stated that he is willing to come back to work for the town of Monterey because he likes everybody here, well, mostly everybody. Few exceptions. But no, he said actually that he always liked Monterey and he knows the town and he's currently working on some things and he is available should he be requested. So I think that's very nice of him. Other than that, there's gonna need to be a search for town council, and I would, given lots of for a lot of reasons, I don't believe there should be a lapse of even a day when Monterey is not represented by council.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Did we retire him or did he resign?
Who?
Jeremiah.
He was terminated by the town.
His appointment was up and he didn't get reappointed. I don't know, I feel like it's something for the next board, to decide.
So here's the.
I think,
So here's your problem.
I don't know exactly, exactly why they quit or not, but it is a difficult situation when the board, for example, agrees to meet. You know, we were supposed to meet today at noon in executive session, and that didn't happen, and I can imagine being counsel, having some, you know, at the end of last meeting, or during last meeting, we decided Justin's gonna reach out to counsel to see if he's available. You said you were available, John is available, I was at noon. I did reach out to counsel. Once he said I'm available, I let everyone know that we were available, and then the meeting didn't happen. So it's like, what's that?
He wrote a very short letter here, they didn't go into specifics.
Well, he said
We're
there's
not- we're not-
significant differences.
We're not gonna be debating the reasons why they left.
I'm not debating the
They left.
reasons why they left, I'm just saying maybe we should put it off to another board that can act as a board, and when the board agrees to meet, not get blocked by one member of the board, which I could imagine working as counsel where
So Justin.
that kind of thing happens.
I
So I think we should.
I have
put it
all
off.
that,
Yeah.
your current board ends, on May 10th, okay? The new board is impaneled on May 11th, okay? This letter says the town council is working until the 7th, okay? So there's going to be a period of time, small period of time, a few days, where the town is not represented by council. It's generally not a good idea. Actually, it's not generally a good idea, it's not a good idea. So this board unfortunately is gonna have to figure out, even if it's a stopgap measure, to keep the town, as being represented by some council. I'm sorry, Mickey.
Okay, so I've got three things here. I think that you should initiate a search right now. Start that tomorrow. You don't want to stay late tonight. So you start your search. Ask KP to please extend till a few days after the town meeting, so that we don't have a lapse. And that's not out of the question to ask somebody to extend it for another week, so that you can have the new board review the search together and then make a decision then. I mean, they're gonna have to make a decision quickly, but that can be done. That's three little things. Search now, ask them to extend till a reasonable time after the week after the elections. For the elections are what, the 10th? The Wednesday would be the 11th, so the 18th of May. That's not asking a whole lot. And then the new board has to make the hire immediately.
That's assuming though, that you find somebody and that the new board on the first day of their
Agrees.
meeting, are interviewing counsel.
All right, so you'll get some documentation from these people telling you what they're gonna do and blah, blah, blah. You've only got two other people running for the position, right? So they can read those documents, read what and know that this is on your plate, first thing. We have to make a decision. I don't think that's the end of the world, unless you wanna ask KP to work till the end of May. So it can
I
still
don't
be
think
the
they
new
want-
board,
Yeah.
but you got your searches done beforehand.
Well, the problem isn't council, the problem is the board. And,
The problem is counsel. This letter is a resignation from the town attorneys. It is not, they're resigning.
yeah, no, I understand that, but, as long as you have a dysfunctional board that doesn't act as a board, no amount of counsel can ever fix that. And,
I would certainly agree with that.
and,
But that's still, we have to address the problem at hand. And the problem at hand right now is this current town council is saying we're not working for Monterey up to the 7th. would be, you know what, Mickey, that's a good idea, though. I certainly can reach out to them and see if they'd be willing to work till the end of May. I think you have to have an overlap. You can't just,
Right.
it's not gonna work a brand new board and all of a sudden you gotta do this.
But council's only as good as you take their advice and work with them. And so, if we don't, does it kill us to not have council for a few weeks?
Yes, it does, actually, yes, it does. It actually does.
I wouldn't advise it.
Yes, it's like,
And not for the silly things, I mean, this is the problem. This council, we should have given a big bottle of something to keep going this year, because they've been inundated with a lot of stupidity, to use that word. But this way,
can we put it in the minutes there?
I don't blame them for wanting to get out, but they should
The
be able to work with you a little bit.
The analogy is, listen,
There could be a serious thing where you need counsel.
you just got a letter from your car insurance company that they're canceling your car insurance on this and this date. You need to get another car insurance company before they leave. You can't even in one day, you can't have a lapse.
But you can always, in response, hire someone to deal with it, no? Special counsel,
Yeah.
not general town council? I mean, I don't see why you couldn't, if you get sued, and I don't have a lawyer, if I get sued, then I could hire a lawyer, right?
Yeah, but it sounds a little bit different.
But that's your person versus a municipality. A municipality, if somebody's gonna sue you, they'll sue you for a couple of $1,000s. If somebody's gonna sue a municipality, it's gonna be for like $10 million or something like that, if there's some kind of major catastrophe over here. So you can't play games, this is something you just can't play games with, you just can't do it. It's gotta, the taxpayers of Monterey, the residents of Monterey have to be covered, the government has to be covered by council. There cannot be even 1 hour of lapse.
Start your search, ask for an extension.
You can certainly start to search.
And
So,
ask for an
well, you
extension.
know what, actually though, although, I just wanna make it clear, I'm just gonna, right now, I am gonna make a motion to hire Chairman Pollard, since he's available and he says he's willing to do it. At the same rate as KP Law. That's my motion, I just made that motion. Okay, motion fails. So now the town had the opportunity, for the record, the town had the opportunity, to engage, replacement counsel, but the board did not.
You may have to.
What?
You may have to.
Well,
You can be forced into it, but.
there are, I understand you can count the number of town council entities in southern Berkshire on one hand. So, it's not like they're coming out of the
Not
street.
like anybody wants that job.
Yeah, so yes.
And when they see, and when Monterey has had the press that Monterey has had this year, there's gonna be many fewer that are gonna respond.
And I'm sure there's a little listserv for lawyers that says don't take them on.
Yeah, I think lawyers
Oh,
talk to each other.
It's what they get together.
Should I send out the same proposal we sent out last time to the attorneys that I could find? I did find 2 new firms that I can, and one old
Sure,
one that.
so I would post what we can post for, a search for town family, is that?
That's fine.
Okay, so we're both in agreement that we're gonna do that, and, let's see what we come up with. All right.
Are you gonna call KP and ask him to extend till the end of May?
All right, you wanna do that?
You want me to do it?
No, I'll contact them.
Yeah.
Chair will contact KP Law and ask them to extend to the end of May.
Okay.
And I will do it in writing, and I will get their answer in writing, and I will give it out to the board and the public. Right, review mail and correspondence to be sent. 5A, Nancy Marcus, okay, so we have a letter from Nancy Nancy Marcus,
She's just resigning from the planning board.
she's resigning from the planning board. And it's for personal reasons. We thank Nancy for her service on the planning board. We certainly wish her family the best of health, because that's what was written about, and we accept the resignation. The request from George Cain.
Asking that you adopt the sample fair housing month proclamation.
So, many of the communities, or most of the communities in Berkshire County, have adopted or are in the process of adopting fair housing proclamation. This one comes from, I believe, it was generated by the Berkshire Board of Realtors. And it basically just codifies what we already do here in Monterey, which, that we do not discriminate here in this town, based on race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familiar status, national origin. And then we work within the guidelines of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, that also prohibits discrimination based on gender identity, sexual orientation, ancestry, genetic information, marital status, veteran or active military status, and source of income. So I would make, yes, so this is through the National Association of Realtors and the Berkshire County Board of Realtors. So I would make a motion that we accept the fair housing proclamation.
Second.
I vote yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you'll give me a regular signature page, or? Okay.
So minutes in the warrant.
Yeah, so let's approve the minutes, and then we'll do the warrant, and then do a happy dance. So we'll start with the easy one here, minutes of 4/5/22. There were no
I think it just has a comma added.
comma.
You can see the line on the side.
I see. Okay, well, fine, so I make a motion that we accept the minutes of 4/5/22 with the addition of that comma.
Second.
Okay, so yes?
Yes.
Okay, you can hear. Okay. So we're working a little backwards here, but next one I have here are the minutes of April 6/22. You made changes and I made changes. Let's see, okay, you're blue. So, with moderator, okay, that's fine. Monterey News, that's fine. Attorney Mike Myers, that's fine. Brian Mazur spelled correct way, that's okay. Bylaw review, amendment bylaw review committee bylaw, right, that's good. I changed said to suggested. I added should and still. Oh, you added still. Huh. So the board should still come up with it. Should. Oh, still needs to. You put in still needs to.
No, I put in still. It says still needs to. You put in should. It says still needs to.
Should
come
come up
still,
with.
should still. It could read should still.
Should still come up with. Okay, fine. So we'll leave all of our incorrections in there. That's fine. Justin, so we
was not.
Yeah, I think we both had the same. We both had the same thing. In favor of.
Because it limits the flexibility of the board to spend the money before and after the deadline.
Okay, that's fine. Because of the executive session, Justin, John said it. Oh, okay, was not. Should not, it's fine. I just wrote informed instead of told. And the board was not meeting with the lawyer first. They will meet with the employees of the court. Because of regardless of what beyond the executive session, board needs to meet in executive session through the letter, which there's no good for anybody on the So actually, we did say in meeting that, that he was gonna draft the notice and I was gonna do, it was the quote, you actually said, the chair's gonna do what he does.
Hmm.
I mean, that was and that's that was specific language. So I would move to keep that,
Okay, I mean, either way,
so we're gonna keep it. I'm gonna put keep. Let's see, table, I just added the previous week, okay. Oh, so you wanted to take out the apology? That was one of the nicest moments I thought it boded well for this town, the fact that John and Jeremy actually apologized to each other. I think it's very important.
it's not official select board business, I'm sorry.
But it,
So,
what
I
happened?
would be told to take something like that out. I would put it in if it would be taken out,
it's,
unfortunately.
You keep stuff in the library, but it's
Well-
the library. And we
They get
cer-
tough on
and
things.
they've certainly kept stuff in the select board
There was a
before that
reference
wasn't select board
of,
business.
They can
someone
be
who was
very
supposed
tough
to
on
write a
that.
notice, what was that?
No, there was so we were talking about having an executive session on, Justice said, well, the attorney can write up the notices and the chair will, or Steve will do what he does, or something like that. And that's important because that was the understanding.
Okay, I just needed the context.
All right, fine, we'll leave out the apology. Vicky, only you and I will know that they apologized to each other. Fine, so I make a
I
motion,
understand, Mickey.
so here,
Give me a file. You heard?
sign that, and sign this. To the front page. Okay. Meeting of 4/11/22. Who made it? Okay.
so, it's short, so I'll just read it all. The email from Attorney Riley with regard to the Lake Garfield Tax District citizen petition was read into record. Attorney Riley recommended that the board was not compelled to put the Lake Garfield Tax District on the warrant as there were no corresponding signatures attached to the article itself. Justin requested the forfeits be bolded, that the pollinator citizen petition be moved to the first citizen petition, and to move the two articles that were below the citizen petition to above them, to make sure the citizen petitions, I don't know what I'm reading, sorry. You can read it.
Yeah, let's see. To make this petition, wait, no, wait, confusing, wait, hold on. Hold on, this is the first citizens petition, and to move the two articles that were below the citizen petition.
We could add a comma there, between 1 and 2.
To make them, I think, why don't you just to leave them and just get out, to above, that were below the citizens petitions to
Above, comma, to make the citizen petitions.
oh, no, I think if you got rid of above, to, and you got rid of two above, or you, if you got rid of, I'm sorry, if you got rid of above and them and two, it would say that were below the citizens petitions to make the citizen
Sure.
petitions. So everything, hold on, finding not in my brain here.
No, I think you're right.
So I'm getting rid of the words to and above and them.
Yeah.
Okay. Just amended to the record response, Riley, how got the
On a
article.
draft article for amending the bylaw review committee bylaw based on the attorney general's response. The motion to add this article on the warrant was made, seconded, and approved 2-0.
Fine, let's make sure it's a draft one, and it'll, meeting. We didn't vote?
No.
Didn't vote on that?
I said, why vote on it when we're just gonna end up, signing and get off on Wednesday?
So here,
Motion to approve
Motion to approve.
minutes of 4:11 as amended.
okay, and the last one that we have in front of us here
Yes.
is, 4-6, this was,
The
Well,
executive session, but there's nothing in it.
oh, there's nothing in, okay, so I make.
Wait, 4:11 we already did.
Yeah.
So, and my apologies, the minutes of 3/23/22 noon are not completed. I'm still working on them.
Okay.
I said I would have them for today and I don't. My apologies, and I will have them for the next meeting.
Okay, so.
But we can do 4/6/22 executive session in open meeting and approve them for public view, I think.
Oh, the one that we're looking at right now?
Yeah.
Let me just read yes, that's true. So I make a motion to approve the executive session minutes of 4/6/22, and to not only to approve them, but to provide them to the public as they have nothing exclusionary.
Second.
I go yes.
Yes.
Exciting stuff. Who's out there who wants to still be on the select board? Okay.
Just do your comments and questions, you can sign, you don't have to sign in front of everybody, you already approved.
All right, well, I like to sign in front of everybody anyway, while they're here. Anyway, hey, comments and questions to the public. And don't say anything about stickers.
I'll say whatever I want.
Them fighting words.
The man
But
got this board with this.
Shouldn't we approve the warrant in the meeting?
You already approved it, just,
Yeah.
just wait.
But then we added the
Everybody
budget
needs to sign.
and this and that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do that, I want Mickey to
What?
see this first.
To see that you signed it?
Yes.
Don Coburn has a question.
I'm sorry, yes, hi Don.
Hello, I have a comment. I assume comments by the public are select board business, so I want to say that I thought it was a lovely moment when I apologized to Jeremy and he apologized to me. And I trust that will be in the minute now. And I think members of the select board might consider whether apologies are more needed in this town from members of the board. The other thing I want to say is that not having counsel is really irresponsible. Legal issues arise not just from the select board, from the zoning board, the planning board, the building inspector, and so on. They need answers. So it will be very irresponsible to not appoint counsel so that counsel is in place when there's other firms.
Jeremy has his hand up.
I was just gonna say that Don and I agreed it was a real kumbaya moment and good for all. So I'm seconding that.
Yeah, I'd like to include in the minutes that we have so many not pleasant things in the minutes. I think when we finally have a pleasant moment in town, we should put it in the minutes. I think make people understand that not everything is bad. Justin. But all right, let's give Justin a moment to think about it. You can always change his mind here. Meanwhile, we're each signing the warrant.
Is there a meeting next week?
And that's what we're gonna talk about after this. But yeah, I like the idea of people are apologizing to each other. And for the record, I apologize if I've transgressed against any of you guys, or, you know, you put that in the record. Or make you try to take more for your dump sticker. Sure, that's not gonna make me popular in town. Or did the guys try to charge us $100? I do believe.
Good thing you're not both running, you know.
I know.
That gets right out of there.
That's when you know somebody's not running, because then when they propose, otherwise they're gonna propose to lower it. So they get reelected. No, it's just, it has always been an issue with, all boards. We've always had this debate, because, you know, it is an expense that is not gonna go down. We're getting a lot less for recyclables. There's a misconception out there that Monterey is somehow making a ton of money from recyclables. That has completely,
Well, look at the things that they're saying, yeah, you can't drop that in there, no, that doesn't go in there, you know, don't put that in the, so that you're not recycling as much because you're like, maybe it's in the not in the yes, you know?
Right.
And it's part of life, is having to pay to get rid of the garbage.
it is, but it's an expensive part of life, and unfortunately, you know, whatever. Okay, so listen, so, okay,
Nice neat pile of papers you got there.
yeah, okay, so we've signed it. I do note for the record that this is the second year in a row that, Mr. Weigel has not signed it, has not signed the warrant. Unfortunately, you wanna have 3 signatures on the warrant, but that's life. I also would say that, so I am gonna be out of town on the 20th. I don't believe that there's, other than the possible, looking at an attorney, there's anything that's dramatic, and I would make a motion that we actually adjourn until the 27th of April, and have it, have it just, we've done what we need to do, and the 20th is going to be impossible for scheduling reasons. Fine? Okay, so
I'm not gonna second the motion, but you're the chair, so you call the meetings. That's fine.
fine, okay, so the next meeting will be April 27th at 6 PM. Mickey, we will reserve your chair. You? If
I was
there's room.
thinking of handing in my resignation.
Don't do that.
Me, if there's room, did you say?
Are we entering the executive session to?
No, we approved the minutes of 4/6, and my apologies. I don't
Oh, that's right,
have
you didn't have it.
3.3.
Okay, great, then I would make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
I vote yes.
yes.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.